The Magic Mile is New England's only NASCAR track and one of the more difficult ovals to race on iRacing. What seems like a simple track based on the layout is anything but simple when you figure in banking and grip levels, which makes it perfect for tonight's challengers on the Stout, which is the Stout, grippy, late model stock car here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Welcome to round 3 of the Misfit Racing League Summer Touring Series, Pit Stop TV, and the virtual Loudon, New Hampshire. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the Misfit Racing League Summer Touring Series. Get that one down for round number 3 of their summer. Tonight's coverage is brought to you by Spartamax, by CB Designs, by Crow Sim Shots, sorry Justin, by Molly's Custom Silver, by Hot Shots Photography, by Podium Esports, and by Whiplash SimCam. So as all those graphics go across your screen, make sure to check out those who support racing. But we have got 100 laps of feature racing set to go here in just about, I'd say, 20-25 minutes or so after a couple of heat races this evening. New Hampshire, yes, we're going to see some heat races as opposed to what we saw at Stafford, where we only got that one heat, I believe. I think we only got the one. So a bit of a more, I guess, regular format for these guys this evening. We are going heat racing properly. Let's talk about this racetrack, though. New Hampshire Motor Speedway. As I said in my intro, it looks real simple from above. It is just a straight-up oval. It's not at all simple when you get down to it and you break this thing down with the very flat banking, the banking that falls away out of turns 2 and 4, and the lack of grip here. It becomes a real challenge at all 4 corners of this racetrack, and I envy none of these drivers this evening. While this car is easier to drive at a racetrack like New Hampshire, is still not perfectly easy to drive. And we can also talk about our point standings coming into this evening, with Justin Brooks on top at 207 after his win at Stafford. Jake Sylvia now in the 2nd spot. He moves up from 4th. Tyler Mueller there in 3rd. Dylan Calabro in 4th. And Michael Wiseman completes your top 5. There will be a couple of number changes, it looks like, throughout the field, so bear with us on that. These sessions are held in hosted sessions, so there are a couple of discrepancies, but we'll work with it as we need to, and, well, it'll all make sense at the end of the day. But you see Josh Parrish down there at the bottom end of the top 10. He did not make Stafford, but he did win the first race of the season, so he's still got a decent points total, and while I don't see him in the field this evening, he could still come back and put together a decent little season for himself. Speaking of drivers who are going to make it in this evening, one of them is going to be Ryan Kuhn. He's currently on top of our qualifying standings, which we'll pull up now. Qualifying wrapping up in the background. Ryan Kuhn fastest. Looks like Grant Brown is going to shut it down. He'll be the final car to go out for a lap, and he will qualify 17th position thus far. So Ryan Kuhn, top of the board. You've got Deegan Smith, Sean Hayes, Justin Crow, Michael Wiseman, your top 5. And of course, we'll run through your full starting grid here for the heat race. The top 5 get locked in by qualifying, but then we do go heat racing, and we can talk about our Whiplash SimCam's details in that same thread, because we do have 10-lap heats this evening, a 12-lap LCQ should we need it, and a 100-lap feature race. These are open setup races, 2 change sets of tires in the pits, up to 3 green white checkers available, and caution laps do count. Same kind of format that we saw at Stafford on play this evening. While we wait on qualifying to take over to our first heat race, let's talk about what we have upcoming here at Pit Stop TV. Next up, tomorrow night, we go out to the Chicago Street Course with the XCal Web Shop Series here in 2024. Our first broadcast with that group. It's race 16 of their 30-race season. Then this weekend, it's a big one. We have the Majors 24 with 13 splits. We're covering Split 4. We'll be going live at 9 a.m. Eastern on Saturday morning, and then 3 a.m. Eastern on Sunday morning. Very early broadcast days for us on Saturday and Sunday, and then we go out to Sonoma Raceway with the Icon Cup Series on Sunday, June 9th at 7:45 p.m. Eastern. So we've got a lot of road racing. 4 road course broadcasts coming up before we get back to our next oval race, which will be sometime next week. Want to give a nod, certainly, to our partners with the series. Of course, as mentioned, Spartamax, CB Designs, Crow Sim Shots, Molly's Custom Silver, Hot Shots Photography, and Podium Esports for allowing us to broadcast this event. A big nod to our partners at the channel as well, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, and CC's Business. We should be advancing into the session here in any moment, really. So while we have a moment, if you're watching over on YouTube especially, let us know who you're pulling for, who you're, maybe where you're watching from, rather, because we do have a wide variety of drivers from all across the United States partaking in this event this evening. In fact, we do have some drivers, as Kyle Adams told me, who were gritting up and going qualifying as tornado sirens went off behind them. In other words, they're from the Midwest. Well, we are ready for our first grid of the evening. We'll even get into the iRacing sim here in just 1 second, and we'll talk about and roll through our first heat grid. By CC's Business, Jake Grout on pole this evening in car number 49. Kyle Adams rolls off from the second spot, starting third and fourth, Kendrick Cryer and Jacob Alexander. Mr. Winnebago himself on the top of row 2. Row number 3, it'll be the 97 of Sean Urich, and how about the 89 of Bradley Stefane in 6th place to wrap up the field. Tyler Mueller and Matt Mingo will take us through our 8-car heat number 1. Weather conditions this evening as cars come to life. 68.2 degrees in the air, track temp at about 102. You see some clouds over turn 4. They may start to come this way depending on which way the wind is blowing and if that wind changes at all, but relatively calm winds here today in New Hampshire. Perfect day for a virtual race. We'll go through some of our Whiplash SimCams onboards. On board with Matt Mingo, you can, well, take a look from the traditional kind of TV vantage point. We also have the bumper cams front and rear, as we'll display here with Jake Grout as he rolls off from the grid in pole position. Kendrick Cryer, how about our in-car perspective, right alongside the driver, right to the right-hand side of the driver's helmet. Jacob Alexander can help us show off this shot from the mirror, more or less, looking back at the left side of the car. Sean Urich can show us the right side of the car. And Bradley Stefane can take us inside his helmet with this really, really cool vantage point. We actually debuted this vantage point with this late model stock and have moved it to every other car that we broadcast, which is a really, really cool factoid about this car in specific. But this camera, I think, gives us a really cool perspective. And of course, right here over the right side portion of the car, looking forward, you see all those clouds over turn 4. They might head this way and make this a much cooler, much different kind of race. You see that barrier, that front moving in, maybe, who knows? But let's get ready to go racing this evening. Race number 3 in the Summer Series. Well, Heat Race 1 is green. Mr. Winnebago himself grabbing the outside wall. Jacob Alexander, there we go. Back on the outside, safer barrier. He falls back now. Kyle Adams, though, crossover on Kendrick Cryer, and spinner is Jake Grout. Adams makes contact, and our first CC's Business caution comes out for the race leader. Jake Grout, a driver out of New England, did not want to start his day that way, that's for sure. We'll take you through the back end of lap 1 and what happened in this caution. On board here with Jake Grout. And he just got back to power and got free. Then here comes Cryer. He dives high. Then you see Kyle Adams dive low and couldn't miss the spinning 49. The rest of the field gets by okay, it looks like. On board the Winnebago. Well, that makes for a slightly slow start to the day, but that's okay. No Zach Murtis this evening. Hope he's doing well. Hope to have him back if we do any future broadcasts here with the Misfit Touring Series. I know this is a series usually covered over on Podium Esports, and I want to give a big shout out to Podium Esports for calling upon us when they need to. And this is not the first time we've covered for them in times of need, and while we never want Podium to have to forfeit a broadcast, we're certainly happy to step in and help them when we are able. The field will double up this time by, and we'll go back racing the next time around. It looks like one car is in the pit lane, or rather catching up to the field, and it is Jake Grout. He has taken his fast repair along with Kyle Adams, so both of those cars will be back to looking pretty and go back very, very quickly around some left corners. Grout will catch up to the field on the backstretch, line up 8th, and we'll be ready to go back green flag racing here in just a moment's time. We do have more late model racing coming up on Pit Stop TV. While it's not on this graphic, next Thursday we go out to the Milwaukee Mile with the Sarah 1-8 Racing Media National Tour. Super late models at the Milwaukee Mile. You don't want to miss that one. 100 laps of racing just like we have this evening. And that'll be in addition to everything you see here on this broadcast in this graphic. Into the Echo restart zone and into the hands of Kendrick Cryer. Green flag once again in Heat 1. Clouds quickly moving overhead. Kendrick Cryer leading, Sean Urich drifting through turn 4. These guys all sideways in the final corner. 1 lap complete, green flag. Way up high is Matt Mingo in that number 12 Dodge. Nearly to the outside wall down the backstretch. Sean Urich, though, side by side with Tyler Mueller in the 11. Rather the 4. Again, a couple of those small number discrepancies. Go on board with Sean Urich looking back at 3rd place. Tyler Mueller, and up ahead now Kendrick Cryer allowing this 97 to get to his inside. We're going to be 2, maybe 3 wide into turn number 3. Way down low, Kyle Adams, a big move to put it 3 wide on the 89er Stefane, all while Kendrick Cryer's under some fire, sliding around, making contact behind him, drag race to the line that time. Cryer hangs on to the race lead by just a nose. 2 really good battles, way to the apron. That is Tyler Mueller on the flat. He slides back up in behind Urich. Urich will take the race lead. The Team Zeem 66 is doing a fantastic job up top, but this time it looks like he's going to be cleared by Sean Urich for the race lead. Just 2 laps to go here in heat number 1. And Kyle Adams in 4th place runs the fastest. This is more or less just a qualifying race. Nobody's going home today from the heat races. But this is an opportunity to better your position in the lineup. This is a big, big deal for these guys to start further up and have track position. Big send into turn 3 there from Cryer. He gets back alongside Urich. Urich, you saw the yellow gloves moving around inside the car. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Adams even faster that time. On board, you can see just how close these 2 are down the backstretch. Into turn number 3, this will be the camera to the end. Sean Urich outside, Kendrick Cryer down low, Kyle Adams big send underneath, he's looking for third. It's going to be a drag race into turn 4, Cryer inside, Urich outside to the stripe. It's going to be Cryer with the win in heat number 1. Incredible. Which now leaves some big shoes to fill for heat number 2 to go out there and try to somehow do even better. The heat 2 grid will be headed up by none other than Dylan Calabro in car number 18. Brad Carpenter in the 31, that bright green machine on the outside of the front row. Then Tanner Burge in the 35, Dylan Delaney in the 88 car, top of row number 2. How about the 41 of Brandon Wind? Grant Brown in the 14, starting from nearly the rear of the field. And finally, Trevor Ward, very back of the field here for heat 2. Well, as you watch along this evening, we invite you to take a look at our social media pages. There's a handful of them. Of course, you can follow along with Pitstop.tv at all of these platforms. Pitstoptv.com. It's a little outdated. We're working on it, I promise. It's a work in progress, as always. Facebook.com/PitstopTV. Instagram.com/Pit_Stop_TV. Twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV. YouTube.com/C/PitstopTV1. And X.com/PitstopTV_. And of course, we are also broadcasting to those of you on the Misfit Touring Series YouTube page. I believe on Misfit Productions, technically. So welcome to all of you. The clouds have subsided somewhat as there's contact coming to the green flag, but heat number 2 is underway. One car in the wall. Delaney. Maybe a hardware issue off the start. That 88 is still stopped and can confirm hardware issue. He will be able to get it off the racetrack. These guys will keep racing. Big send here, Grant Brown all the way down to the apron. He gets covered up by wind. You saw the 35 of Burge go down there as well. 1 lap complete from the start. On board, Tanner Burge. Burge working here on our race leader of Dylan Calabro. Very, very close there through turns 1 and 2. Calabro's in the 71, but Squirto's the 18 tonight. That's how close they are off the second corner. This is only lap number 3. I think these guys are going to be going at it most of this heat race. Meanwhile, Grant Brown has moved into 4th, and he's working on Brad Carpenter, this for 3rd spot. Brown hooking the bottom, going to have a run maybe through turn 4 and back onto the front stretch. It's kind of stagnates. But he was the fastest on the racetrack of anybody that time by big send into turn 1. A little bit of contact maybe with Brad. That was pretty stout. That was a big send and it worked. Gonna do the same, I'd imagine, down here in turn 3. Big send trying to pull a slide job. Not clear. Carpenter's still out there. Now Carpenter will relent, give that spot up, and Grant Brown goes through 3rd spot. Another lap complete, another lap led by Dylan Calabro, not going anywhere. Tanner Burge, though, might have something in the back end. Oh, as we crossed halfway cross flags, rather, that time by. Alongside, maybe. No, Burge backs out now, ducks up the inside of the 71 car. He's got a fender to the quarter panel. Ooh, that was close. Behind him, Grant Brown solidly into third. Carpenter in fourth. Ward in fifth. Brandon Wind at the sixth spot. Nothing really changing the rest of the way through. Weather conditions, though, now that the clouds have really moved in, the track temp has dropped down to 93 degrees. It was 102 in qualifying. I'll check my notes again of where it was. I know it was 1-0s. Somewhere over 100 degrees when we started this broadcast. So it's dropped about 10 degrees, maybe more. 3 laps to go. A valiant effort, lap after lap by Tanner Burge. I just don't know if he's going to have enough at this point. These tires, they take temperature more than they wear. They don't really wear all of that terribly on iRacing. Although we are going a bit faster. But you can really build some temperature in these corners, especially the way these guys are sliding through and putting wheel in, going down on the flat just like that. Just a couple more opportunities for Burge to try and upset Dylan Calabro, who started this heat race from pole position, has led every single lap. While the white flag is out in heat number 2, brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Grant Brown is closed in. He's going to look at second place maybe on this final lap. Final time through 3 and 4, nothing gonna change out front. It's Calabro, it's Burge, it's Brown. And that's how they'll finish. So Dylan Calabro, your Heat 2 winner. And that'll take us straight into the race session. It looks like through an invert, it's going to throw pole sitter Ryan Kuhn back to 11th and Grant Brown to the pole position. Oh boy. On pole for this evening's third round of the Misfit Touring Series summer season. Grant Brown will lead us to the green flag. Tyler Mueller, second place. Going to start from the outside of row number 1. How about third place? It's Tanner Burge. Sean Urich from 4th. To complete your top 5, Heat 2 winner, Dylan Calabro. Kendrick Cryer will line up from the 6th position after winning Heat number 1. Then it's the top 5 from qualifying. Michael Weissman in 7th. Justin Crow in 8th, Sean Hayes in 9th, Deegan Smith to round out your top 10, and way back there in the middle of the field now after qualifying fastest, it's Ryan Kuhn who will roll off from 11th position. It sounds like he might be taking an EOL to go to the rear of the field to start this one, while Kyle Adams will grid up to his outside. Brad Carpenter, Jake Grout will join the field in row number 7. That'll be Trevor Ward back in row 8 alongside Bradley Stefane. And to complete your top 20, well, your only 20 cars here this evening, Brandon Wind, Jacob Alexander, Dylan Delaney, and Matt Mingo, rather. I want to remind you guys of the point situation coming into this race. Justin Brooks with the points lead, not here this evening. Jake Sylvia second, not here this evening. The top 2 drivers, we'll say top 3 that are here. Well, really, it's just third on back. 3rd through 9th, they're all here. So if I go back to my graphic that Kyle Adams sent me before this race, the drivers that are here that have put themselves, we'll say, in the top 20 in points. Tyler Mueller, Dylan Calabro, Michael Weisman, Sean Urich, Dylan Delaney, Kyle Adams, and Jacob Alexander. We also have Deegan Smith here today. He's 12th in points. Justin Crow, who's 13th. Grant Brown, who's 14th. Jake Grout, who's 15th. Tanner Burge, who comes in to today 16th in the standings. Trevor Ward, who comes in 17th. And that is it. So we have a lot of drivers who have made starts in either races 1 or 2. Or both. That should start here this evening. A couple of the big ones would be Justin Brooks and Jake Sylvia. Justin Brooks, of course, won out at Stafford. Sylvia has the pace to win just about anywhere he goes. So effectively, your points battle becomes Mueller and Calabro. They come into today 12 points apart. So if Calabro can put a decent couple of spots on Mueller, I think that'll be a big time points gain. Calabro going to grid up 5th today with well, I'm having to search. I could have sworn Tyler Mueller's here. I got to find his name somewhere. Is he here? Is my mind playing tricks? I know I saw him somewhere. I guess not. I don't see Tyler Mueller in the session. Well, okay, so the points battle really becomes Dylan Calabro, Michael Weisman. They come into this evening some 9 points apart. Sean Urich, another 13 back. So Calabro, your effective points leader. Weisman second. Calabro going to start 5th. And Weisman will start 7th. Sounds like some drivers are having some gridding issues, so while they get that sorted out, we'll go Pit Stop TV side by side, and once we get rolling, we'll be right back with the start of this 3rd round of the season. Just like that, it happens quick. Welcome back to the virtual New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This evening, we are here for round number 3 of the Misfit Summer Touring Series, and we're going to have a 4-wide salute before we go green flag racing this evening. It's a 100-lap feature. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but these guys gridding up 4 wide, 5 rows deep. This is just cool. I'm not sure what the occasion is, but I'm never going to complain about a 4-wide salute in racing. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen on iRacing. I've seen it a couple of times in the past, usually in memoriam of a driver. Like I said, not sure the occasion this evening other than just wanting to do something cool, but this is really, really cool. Difficult to pull off. Well, we can go over Whiplash SimCam's race details one more time. It's a 100-lap race with open setups, 2 change sets of tires, up to 3 green-white checkers available, and caution laps will count. And in the event of some green-white checkers, we have a fancy graphic bottom right to talk about. We'll get there if we need to get there. Let's hope we don't. Grant Brown will lead us to the green flag this evening. That is going to be Tyler Mueller. I knew he was here. Tyler Mueller on the outside, so he is in the points battle. Why couldn't I find him? I don't know. We're going to work into the Geico restart zone and get this race underway. 100 laps begins now. Brown, Burge, Mueller, top three down the backstretch. Oh, contact for fourth. Urich up the racetrack, gonna hang on to it. He's on the outside now of 3 wide with Kendrick Cryer in the middle. Weissman way down low. 1 lap complete at New Hampshire. 3 wide right behind the leaders. Cryer gonna drive through the middle. Urich gonna follow in behind him. That's the 0 car now of Sean Hayes right in the middle of all of it. Oh, contact there. Calibro to Burge. Burge up the racetrack, just hangs on. 3 wide now with Burge stuck on the outside. That's going to be Hayes now entering the middle. Cryer goes on through. Grant Brown, fastest on the racetrack. He leads. Contact there. Burge and Urich come together. And it was a little bit less gracefully than the Beatles. Oh, we got Kyle Terzak out in the chat saying Kendrick Cryer's his hero. Brennan Kennedy tuning in this evening. 4 laps complete now in New Hampshire. 3 laps complete, rather. Way on the outside, Sean Hayes starting to go backwards in that Toyota Camry. I'm sorry, it's actually a Cadillac on the nose of that car. Looks similar to the old Camry nose. Caution is out for the first time tonight. Trevor Ward and Dylan Delaney wadded up on the outside of the racetrack. The Delaney Dodge definitely has some left front damage. The first CC's business caution flag is out in the feature, and it's going to start out, it looks like, with Trevor Ward in the 16. He's got the 41 to his outside. That is Brandon Wind. And Wind just gets tagged by Ward. Ward goes spinning, locks it down. Delaney is there. And a decent bit of rear end damage, I would imagine. Oh, that car is way towed out. Oh yeah, that left front is has seen better days for Trevor Ward. That'll likely be a fast repair already for the 16 car, and that is not what you want to have happen. On board with him, inside the helmet. Might be a little more on Wind, seeing it there, and then boom, Delaney comes in, kill shot. On board with Delaney, this will be outside the car, but on the roof. Delaney very back of the field. It all happens ahead. Alexander gets by, but no such opportunity for Delaney to do so. And Delaney now will pull back around with a brand new left front on that car, and it'll be a fast repair for the 88. No fast fix taken by Ward. I think he's going to need it, though. He's still got a lot of wheel to the right just to go straight. Yeah, that's not going to do. That is a good way to burn the right front, or left front, rather. Well, maybe the right front, too. I mean, that's not driving right. Up front, Grant Brown going to lead us back to the green flag. Of 100 laps, 6 are complete. Well, Kyle, you can't come back. You got to stay here. Contact between The 88 and 16 put us under caution for the first time. That's, well, technically it was the 41 and 16. Brandon Wynn gets tipped by the 16 of Trevor Ward. Caution comes out. Dylan Delaney involved. And we'll re-rack him, restack him, go back green flag racing. 7 laps complete now at New Hampshire. And oh, Brad Carpenter was just on 2 wheels. Caution's back out. I thought we were going to have a flip. Wow. I saw Kyle Adams and others get out of line trying to avoid whatever was going on in the start there. But let's see. Brad Carpenter, bottom side. Restarting around 13th, it looks like. Hayes didn't go anywhere. The 24 got going and then had to check up. And Ryan Kuhn turns, wow. Kuhn turns at 31 and Delaney's in another. On board with Carpenter. These guys are anticipating the restart a whole lot better than Sean Hayes, the rest of the bottom side, and Carpenter goes down and gets the 24. Wow. And watch Ryan Kuhn in all of this. He's going to go down and try to miss it. Ends up just tagging the 31, and we nearly flip him over. We'll go on board with Ryan Kuhn, going to be the car that turns that RKM 31 car around. Certainly not the way RKM would have wanted this restart to go, but Ryan was just trying to pedal it and find somewhere to go. One more ride on board with the 31 car. That right side camera was looking at the sky for a second. And now from the 88. Wow. Being told by race control that the 24 is claiming the caution. That's Kyle Adams, so he will go to the rear, it sounds like. Up front, it'll be Grant Brown and Tyler Mueller lining up back on the front row. I mentioned earlier, if you're one of those that's here for some late model racing, I assume you are this evening, well, make sure to tune in on June 13th when we go to the Milwaukee Mile. The Semi-Auto Racing Association 1-8 Racing Media National Tour goes out to Milwaukee with super late models in a very, very similar format to what we're seeing this evening. 100 laps of racing, open setups, and some of the best late model drivers on the iRacing.com sim. Guys like Ryan Kuhn, who's in this race. I'd even see Ty Majeski or Alex McCullum in that one. Who knows? Maybe we can try and get Kyle Turzak into it. We're going to give this thing one more shot on the front stretch. Waiting on the green flag. Way down there, Grant Brown gets us going. We get through turn 2. Wiseman and Caliber are going to fight for third. Way down low. Cryer was looking. He pulls back in line. Wiseman way up the racetrack. Maybe some net code. Got him spooked. Who knows? At the racetrack. Way up high. 1 lap complete off the restart. Burge sideways, trying to hang on to it. Justin Crowe going to pedal and get down low. Wiseman moves around, and here comes Mueller for the race lead on Grant Brown. Whoa, that was close. Drag race to the stripe on lap 13. Brown would have won that one. Cryer fastest that time, goes purple. Mueller way down low on the flat, gonna slide up right next to that 14 car. Back down to the bottom side, turns 3 and 4 all the way to the grass. Mueller trying to find something. That was slower that time. He's actually coming into the pit lane. Hello? Not sure what he's got a pit penalty for. I can't imagine this to be a pit stop. Either way, our leaders continue on. The top 3 get single file now. Wiseman the first fight. He's got Yurk on his outside. Mueller just pulls straight through the pits, goes right back on the racetrack. That may have been a restart violation for Mueller. Brad Carpenter turned around at turn 4. No caution yet. And, uh-oh. No caution, no caution. No caution. He'll pull away. Out front then, the fight now for second. Kendrick Cryer, Dylan Calabro. Calabro on his back foot. He loses the second spot. Cryer goes by. That 66 is strong. The field now getting mostly single file. First side-by-side is here between the 97 of York, the 86 of Crow. Justin Crow on the inside. He was quick at Stafford. Pushes up just into the door there of Urich. Close again through 1 and 2. Contact. They lean on each other. Urich outside still. Crow inside. And that's Deegan Smith right behind. Privy to one heck of a show right now on lap 18. They slide up the racetrack. An opportunity maybe if you're Smith to poke down load. Would you go 3 wide? Would you not? He doesn't. I don't know how much longer Urich can hang up there. He keeps getting further and further back on the door of the 86 car. That time nearly gets the outside wall, and you can see that bit of left front damage to Urich's machine. We'll see it better from this angle. Yeah, there we go. This is a really cool view, and he's getting smaller, but you could just see it there for a moment. Side by side now, Urich and Smith. Here we go, this will show it. Look right there on the fender. So up front, we get single file for the most part. Oh, it's spinning. It's going to be Brandon Wind into the pit lane. Caution. Not really sure how that one triggered a yellow flag. Either way, Brandon Wind will bring out caution number 3 this evening. Sideways, drifting on the bottom, and just got loose all on his own. A lot like Jake Grout at the beginning of Heat 1. He'll take this opportunity to go down to pit lane, and will take no faster. Actually, that was pit lane for him. He will not go to pit lane then. At least not yet. Don't anticipate much pitting here just yet. Wait and see if we have any takers in the front stretch. But Grant Brown, your race leader. Kendrick Cryer, second place. Then the 71 of Dylan Calabro. 74 of Michael Wiseman. And the 16 of Sean Hayes. No takers from the lead anyways. First car to dip down, it looks like might be... Who was that? Bradley Stefane, followed closely by Trevor Ward. And Brandon Wind will stay out. Brad Carpenter as well. Carpenter able to take a fast repair, get back on the racetrack. As these two go to pit lane and take service, we'll go Pit Stop TV side by side and be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the virtual New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Ready for a restart to take us into the second quarter of racing. We'll restart on lap 25. About a quarter of this race complete in New Hampshire. 76 to go. A reminder, you're watching the Misfit Summer Touring Series. Several cars puffing the outside wall there out of turn 2. Just that puff of smoke, you can just tell they just clipped it. Cryer gets clear of Calibro. That's Hayes down low. In that bright blue Cadillac, and the 74 Weissman will win out across the line for 4th place. Cars spread out 2-3 wide all throughout the field. Cryer a little bit slow there off of the second corner. Weissman as well, and a blinking Calibro pulls up on the 66. This would be for 2nd place. And it will be for 2nd place. The YachtClubSoda.com number 71 Toyota Camry pulls right on through. It's going to nose ahead. It just loses the nose at the start-finish line, does Calibro. Brendan Wind fastest. A bit deeper in the field, on board with Kyle Adams. He gets cleared up by the 4 car rather. If you move a little further forward, Tanner Burge is a great sight. Watch this in the corner. 2 very distinct lines, and he's packed up behind the 90 car now of Alexander. And Ryan Kuhn. Oh, contact. That was Weissman and I think Grout. Weissman up the racetrack, a bit sideways, a bit squirrely there through turns 1 and 2. Hard of the wall, Justin Crow. That was a big shot to the outside wall, the concrete. Not even safer area there where he hit. Ryan Kuhn going to pull through, and Kendrick Cryer, something's happened to the 66. He's gone from 2nd to 7th. On the outside of turns 3 and 4 now, you see the 72 down low, that's Ryan Kuhn, now through to 6th. Cryer coming around the corner. I don't see any right side damage in the car, just starting to get away from them. He's going to work the top side down here in turns 1 and 2. There goes Jacob Alexander on by. So Ryan Kuhn, somebody we're all too familiar with here at Pit Stop TV, was the defending champion going into this past season of the Sarah Super Series. Lost the title to Alex McCullum, but only by a handful of points. While he didn't win in here in New Hampshire in that Sarah's Super Series, he was one of the better drivers until circumstances kind of took over. And we know how good he's going to be at any track in New England. Of course, he's home to the region as Kendrick Cryer gets real free again. You see several cars moving around. Tyler Mueller going to make it 3 wide down to turn number 3. He's going to go right on through. Slide job successful. Burge now going to try the crossover on the 66 of Cryer. There's a car down there. That's Wiseman. Nearly a third of the way through now. Cryer back to the inside. This of Mueller. Burge up the racetrack, 3 wide now, Urich in the middle. That's Wind way down low. Justin Crowe there in the shot. Oh, real close to turn 4. You can hear the cars are back. We have broadcast material again. The iRacing.com sim has reloaded, so we'll flip back into the sim. And the graphics are going to take a moment to fully come back, but it looks like it actually won't take very long. It looks like we've stayed mostly green, although Weissman is now 1 lap down, so we may have had a caution in there somewhere. We did have a big internet connectivity issue where internet went down here at Broadcast HQ for a short time, but we are back up. As you can see it, Ryan Kuhn is into third. That is Deegan Smith now in the second spot. Grant Brown still leading, and there they go. Going to poke down to the inside and look for the second spot. Does Ryan Kuhn, and Jake Grant going to follow. The victory fuel, Rockford Trucking. Number 15 trying to defend, but Ryan Kuhn, well, I mean, we're at one of his playgrounds. We're at New Hampshire. You know the 72 is going to be quick. This time, Bileby cross flags. Halfway done, halfway to go. Tanner Burge has fallen back to the 10th spot. And he's in a side-by-side fight, it looks like, with Brandon Wind for that 10th position. But Grant Brown still in control as Ryan Kuhn officially moves into second position. I want to thank you all for sticking with us. I know it can be very difficult when you see a stream just suddenly disappear to actually stick with it. There we go, Ryan Kuhn getting by the chrome numbered 15. Not quite clear. Ryan Kuhn still working the very bottom. Jake Grout there with him. And a big move from Sean Hayes. He pulls down to the inside of Dylan Calabro. These two now fight for fifth. And we still have all 19 cars running this race, although Brad Carpenter has now passed Michael Weissman, who's about to go a second lap down. Carpenter is at the back end of the lead group. And Ryan Kuhn now gets clear of Deegan Smith, but maybe not for long. Smith back to the inside. Side-by-side battle still for second place. They stay side-by-side and just even across the line. That was about as even as you possibly can be in a late model, although we saw maybe more even at Langley this past Saturday in the Cars Tour. Ryan Kuhn now falling back a little bit down the back straightaway. And this has allowed Grant Brown to work out to a 1.2 second lead. The more these two fight, the further away that 14 car will get. Grout moving around. Kuhn pulls down into the third position. Side by side, Jacob Alexander now to the inside of Dylan Calabro. This for sixth. Sean Urich, Dylan Delaney, they're going to fight back here for the 13th position. Urich defending, Delaney trying to take it away. Urich way up the track that time, lap 56. Oh, a save there for Jacob Alexander. He's now in front of Tyler Mueller. We are nearing 40 laps to go. This is a bit of an endurance race, honestly, for these guys. 100 laps here at New Hampshire. That does not go by quickly. See Weissman about to go a second lap down. We're watching Grant Brown, the race leader, start to get around here at an accelerated pace, 1.2 seconds ahead of second place Deegan Smith. I think Ryan Kuhn realized what was happening there and that it's better right now to run third and not keep losing all that time to Grant Brown than to run second and be side by side, losing time to the race leader. So he tucked back in line, and these guys, I think, are a little better off for it. How long that lasts, however, I don't know, because I do believe the 72 car is a little bit faster when he's got the opportunity to just put his head down and work on this racetrack. Sean Hayes into 5th. He's got by that 18 of Dylan Calabro, 71 rather. If you recall, Kendrick Pryor went backwards in a hurry when we were last live before the internet connectivity issue. And he's now working to the inside here of Mueller. This would be for 8th position if Pryor can grab it. Still side by side, Mueller nearly grabbing the outside wall. Pryor gonna send it into turn 1, and he'll get that Ford Mustang clear. Mueller tries to fire back, but to no avail. Meanwhile, back to the fight for 2nd. Ryan Kuhn blinking a bit. You don't like that. Jake Grout able to look on and wonder maybe where he gets his break in all of this. The RKM setup shop 72 still working on that 2nd position. And you can see our race leader, Grant Brown, has made his way by the 74 of Wiseman. Put him 2 laps down. Now Deegan Smith, Ryan Kuhn, and Jake Grout will have to try and do the same. It staggers them for a moment. Wiseman stays low. Caution! Tyler Mueller outside of turn 2, spun around. And we will halt this race one more time. Bit of healthy green flag racing there. Mueller and Adams into turn 1. Adams down low, Mueller up high, and they met in the middle. Mueller goes for the spin, though. And Kyle Adams will have to celebrate, maybe going to the rear again. Of course, that's not much of a celebration. It's interesting, the 4 is actually claiming that caution, so Mueller will go to the rear by option. Must feel that he turned in on the 24 car. So race control, quick with the update there. We appreciate that for sure. Another look at it. And pit stops. Pit stops everywhere. Grant Brown comes into the pit lane. And we've got some 2 tires getting back out there across the line first. It'll be the 15 of Deegan Smith. Down the way with 2 very quickly. Everybody going to go for 2 tires. And just to confirm here that it is officially a 2-tire stop for Grant Brown, we'll go back and watch the pit stop. The right sides will go up. And when they drop back down, he fires away, but Deegan Smith gets the spot over him, so Grant Brown falls back. And we can go ahead and start to talk to some of these drivers. Let's grab driver 14 and see how he's feeling. Grant Brown, he just lost the race lead in the pit lane. Never how a driver wants to lose the lead. Of course, no driver wants to lose the lead at all, but how do you go and get that back on the racetrack? It's definitely seemed easy to pass at times, hard to pass at others. Do you feel like the restart's going to help you here to get that lead back? I mean, do you want to wait on the green flag run? Where do you feel like you're best? And you're one of the drivers that was here at Stafford as well, back here at New Hampshire. There's some drivers who aren't making the trip out to New Hampshire this evening. It's hard to get some drivers to run this place, but that gives you an advantage in the point standings. Can you try and use that and build some momentum and go through the rest of the summer with these monthly races? Best of luck here. Grant Brown with the Crow Sim Shots logo on his hood. Gonna restart second. Deegan Smith with the race lead out of the pit lane. Jake Grout, Kendrick. I think we're back this time. I'm not sure, but we are working to reconnect. Spectrum is having an off day, that's for sure. Usually they're decently reliable. They're the only internet option we have where we live. Unfortunately, this is now 3 different internet connectivity issues within the course of this race. We are loading back into the sim, so we can go ahead and bring the sim back to you here in just one moment. And try to continue this broadcast, but you see paint schemes have been wiped, so it'll take a second for those all to load. Well, we're working lap 71 of 100, so we're nearly down to the final quarter of this one. Deegan Smith out front, Grant Brown second, then Kendrick Cryer, Dylan Calabro, Jacob Alexander, Sean Hayes, your top 6. As the paint schemes reload, I think we're back for the time being. Cross your fingers here, ladies and gentlemen. This has become race it, I don't know, broadcast as long as you can, as long as Spectrum allows. I'm not sure. Never want to badmouth anybody on a broadcast of mine, as I was trying to say before we lost connection again. But it's very difficult to do work here when the internet is spotty at best. But we'll give it another shot inside of 30 laps to go. Deegan Smith inside, Grant Brown outside. To the restart zone we go. Green flag back in the air at New Hampshire. And a big problem for Brown on the restart. He chops the nose of Kendrick Cryer to turn 1. Calabro on the outside. Spinning goes Alexander hard to the outside wall. Caution's out again. He's going to get help here from Justin Crow in the 86. It looks like no, actually it was Wind. Brandon Wind on the outside. Watch this again. Brandon Wind in the 41 car going to be the car to actually tip the back end of the 90 right there. Goes for a spin, hard in the outside wall, and that is it. So Wind will go to the rear. He has claimed the caution. And so while we have an opportunity, we'll bring in Jake Grout. Jake, you're running in, well, 17th spot. What's gone wrong for you here today?
Right place, right time. So we're going to get back up there. I know I got a fast car, so just go back up there. Got the super fast RKM hot rod, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, we saw you and Ryan doing some yeoman's work earlier in this race. Really, really fast. Can you get back up there on this restart?
I think I can. I know the car is there, so as long as I still got the equipment underneath me to do it, we're good.
And how much has weather played into this race? We saw in the heat races, clouds came over and the track seemed to really grip up. I know you went spinning at the start of your heat race, unfortunately, but has it seemed like the sun coming back out has taken this track right back to just being way too slick?
Yeah, I mean, in the heat races, the track was pretty much undrivable, and then it went to pretty gripped up around the bottom, to loose on top, to now just tight on bottom, so it's changing pretty much every lap, so it's just going to be who can find the right line first and get out there.
Best of luck here. Hopefully we're talking to you later.
Yep, thank you.
Jake Grout with that RKM speed under the hood, as he mentioned. Hoping to go from 17th on this restart, nearly the very back of the field. Well, to higher than that, I think. Anything higher than that would be a decent day. Up front, Deegan Smith, Grant Brown, Kendrick Cryer, Dylan Calabro, your top four. Sean Hayes makes it 5. Justin Crowe makes it 6. Ryan Kuhn going to restart 7th. Tanner Burge going to restart 8th. Then Bradley Stefane and Dylan Delaney going to wrap up your top 10. Back to the Geico restart zone. 24 laps to go. Down the backstretch, 4 wide in the back. That is Wiseman in the middle along with Urich, with Mueller way down low on the inside of the racetrack. He goes way down low. Adams gets hit up the track by Urich. They're 4 wide now right behind, and now 3 off the corner. It's weird to think that 3 wide is a little more safe. And track position is king. Boy, howdy. Deegan Smith pulling away with the race lead. Grant Brown second. That restart is a whole lot as Kendrick Cryer pulls into 3rd. Sean Hayes looking for 4th. Ryan Kuhn right on the left rear of Sean Hayes there to turn 1. Falls back. Calabro. There you see Crow and Burge side by side through turns 1 and 2. And they stay racing now into turn 3. Burge will slide back though, maybe, as here comes Stefan on the very bottom side of the track. And Grant Brown up front going to begin that pursuit of the race lead once more. Sean Hayes fastest, he's 4th. Brown is definitely closing in, but you see Smith able to run his own line. Brown pushing so hard is kind of boxing him in on the line he can run. He's got to push, push, push. Whereas Deegan Smith can be a little more selective, and he gets that run off the corner and is able to pull some room back away on the 14 car. Here we go, 4th spot. Ryan Kuhn dips down to the inside, looks for 4th. And he's there alongside Sean Hayes. And cautions out Weissman this time, the 45, 74, whatever it is. Scored his one thing. He's got another on the door. Mueller on the inside tries to clear himself up. Weissman's there, and he goes for a spin into the outside wall. Mueller go way down there, come up the racetrack. Weissman, whoa, wow. And Mueller, it looks like, will claim that caution. Let's bring in somebody who's moving his way back through this field. And we talk to him so often in the Sarah Super Series and their other divisions. Ryan, we're talking to you again. We have to at this point. You've gone back to front a couple of times now. You ended up by invert starting in the middle of the field, but really you went to the rear. How's this race been? How difficult is it to pass? And how difficult is your road to the front of the field now?
Well, it's a lot easier to pass when you have no damage. So I pitted that first time thinking I didn't have any damage, and then I ended up having 30 seconds. And any bit of damage kills you here. So I came back in, took the pass repair, and thought that was a better option. And we'd have a better shot at it, and now we're back up where we were before. So hopefully we can get by them and bring this thing home.
And you know me, anytime I see Ryan Kuhn at a track in the Northeast, I assume that you're going to be at least in the top 3, if not P1, when the day is over. As we near in on 15 laps to go, the path to get there, what's it look like at this point? How easily can you get up to these guys like Grant Brown and Deacon Smith?
You just got to work the air right. You know, there's a lot of traffic here, a lot of air games. So just got to time it right and make it pass on the bottom. You know, the outside's not that good right now, and if you get to the guys inside, you can pretty much roll bottom. So that's the goal here. Hopefully we can get it.
And I talked recently with your own driver, Jake Grout, actually, about how the grip is on the racetrack. What's it like way down low? A lot of you guys were using the apron earlier in this race. Can you still do that?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, some grip down there, but, you know, it's definitely hard to pass. But the top definitely has more momentum. Or the middle can have more momentum. So hopefully it all pans out.
I'll let you get back to it. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Ryan Kuhn going to restart 4th place, and some useful information there as he's going to grid up top of row 2. And go back green flag racing this time with 16 laps to go. Let's ride with Ryan Kuhn to the restart. Green flag in the air. 16 laps to go. Ryan Kuhn trying to find somewhere to go into turn 1. Grant Brown is there. Hendrick Cryer to his inside, and he's going to get bullied up the racetrack a little bit. Sean Hayes now looking to the left rear of that car. Whoa, Sean Hayes, a big look all the way down to the yellow line. And comes up the racetrack, just keeps it out of the left rear of the 72, but here comes Justin Crow, 15 to go. Caution. And Urich, what a job to hang on to the race car. I didn't think he was going to be able to. I'm a little unsure as to what brought the caution out. I wonder if something happened to the 4. He's way back here. So we have this on the front stretch. Urich in the middle. And Stefane got hooked into the outside wall. I think that was the trigger for the caution. They could have kept that green. But I think Urich and others will appreciate the caution. Squeezing there between the 16 and the 90. And the 16 comes down. That's Trevor Ward and just clips the 89 rather. Oh, 89 of Bradley Stefane. On board with Yurik, just getting squeezed. Car's okay until this moment. Gonna get punched left, punched right. Didn't even hit the wall at all. Didn't even hit the wall at all. Well, somebody came down, and I think that was Kyle Adams actually coming and paying me a visit really quickly with the What's Up Brother. But coming up on lap 90 here, we'll have 10 laps to go very, very soon. We have to talk about it. The possibility of overtime racing at the end of this one. We have 3 green-white checkers available should they become necessary. If we get to that point, the process is as follows. We have 2 laps, a green lap and a white lap. If the green lap is completed, the race becomes official, and the white lap will finish the race no matter what happens. If the green lap is not completed, the restart will be tried again. Up to the 3 attempts that we have at a green-white checkered finish. After all attempts are used, a caution can end the race. And that is that at that point in time. We actually had that exact scenario happen last night in the Icon Cup Series race at Gateway. We went through every single attempt. The 3rd attempt, a crash happened coming to get the white flag at a turn number 4. And unfortunately, that ended the race. So we could absolutely end up in a similar situation. We'll bring the pace car in. We'll have 11 laps to go this time by. Out front, how about Deegan Smith, Grant Brown once again, rinse, repeat. They work off a turn number 2, side by side for 3rd. Grant Brown gets away in 2nd. Ryan Kuhn topside, gonna try and roll the top and get the run back on Kendrick Cryer, crashing in the back. Wiseman up and onto his lid. No, it wasn't Wiseman. Was that, who was that? He hit the wall a ton. That was Calibro. Unbelievable impact to the outside wall for Dylan Calibro. Gonna get alongside Tanner Burge here. This is just outside of the top 5. I think somewhere in the top 10. Yeah, looks like about 8th place when this happens. Calibro gets in deep. Gonna slide around a little bit and blinks until you see him here. Boom! Outside wall, up onto his lid for a moment. Wow. And he just pulls away like it's nothing. On board with Calibro. Wow. He got it in gear quick and pulled away. Another look here. This is just incredible. Wow. We'll take replays of that all day long. Let's go back to the perspective from one Dylan Delaney watching all of this happen. Wow. You know, I try not to break character, but sometimes there's just replays that you end up breaking character on, and it looks like we're to come back green flag this time by, so a quickie yellow. We'll have 8 laps to go. Deegan Smith with a restart jump again. Of course, he's the leader. He gets that advantage. Kendrick Cryer gets his nose ahead of Grant Brown into turn 1. And Cryer will clear for second. Caution's out. Crash the Mac. Weissman this time truly in the crash. Brad Carpenter involved again, and Matt Mingo going to pull off the pit lane for the first time today. Replay up. Brad Carpenter here. And it comes in on the back end of it, it looks like. Kyle Adams was turned up onto his side for a moment in the 24, and he got away quick. Didn't even realize he was involved at first. So the restart Gremlins grabbing the 24 once more. This time, though, not on the front stretch. It's going to be down in turns 1 and 2. He'll stack up with Brandon Wind out ahead of him. See Jacob Alexander trying to hang on to the car. Weissman just tags the 24, turns him up on his side. And Adams pulls away, but Weissman goes for a big spin with Carpenter. And they get stopped there on the bottom of turn 2. And this sets us up for yet another restart. We're going to have 5 laps to go this time. I believe this is the final opportunity we have at getting this race in under regulation. If we have another caution, we're going to go to overtime. Deegan Smith back in the field up ever so slightly. Kendrick Cryer outside, Grant Brown, Justin Crow. Green flag in the air, we're racing again. 5 to go now at New Hampshire. 3 wide to turn 1. Ryan Kuhn on the inside, sends it up underneath Grant Brown. 3 wide for second in the first and second corners. Kuhn is still down there, but falls back a little bit. Grant Brown solidly through to second. Now it's a 3 wide for third. It'll be 4 to go at the stripe. You see the field spreading out a little bit, but still very much packed up. 2, 3 wide throughout. 1 car way down low. That is Mueller in the 4 to the inside of Alexander. Ryan Kuhn still working on Cryer. They've fallen back now, racing for the 3rd spot. Hayes is there. Crow is there. Jake Grout makes a move. He was 17th when we talked to him. Now that 49 car into 7th and still moving forward. Here he goes, moving down to the inside of Sean Hayes. Big crash! Mueller into the inside wall. Big junk on the front stretch. Grant Brown and then Jake Grout just went purple on that lap. There's Calabro crashed. Mueller, 1 car is on its lid. It's going to be Trevor Ward. And he tows. And we'll go to overtime. Onto the front stretch here, Trevor Ward in the middle of a 3 wide. Bradley Stefane just pushes up. He gets tagged. There were 2 separate crashes here. Ward got away, I thought. And then, wow, Mueller comes over and sends him onto his lid after the crash. Not at all related. Now, Tyler Mueller gets involved with Burge and Alexander having a problem on the front stretch. Burge came back down, and there goes the 4 of Mueller spinning. And then he starts accelerating back towards the racetrack, and that's how he flips over the 16. So on board with Mueller. And he just starts pulling away here in a second. Trevor Ward's coming at him. Boom! field will get doubled up this time by Deegan Smith, Grant Brown, Ryan Kuhn, your top 3. Your top 5 also include Kendrick Cryer and Sean Hayes. And we are squarely now into overtime. So if you didn't hear the spiel earlier, and if you don't know about overtime rules, we will not double up this time. We will not extinguish those pace car lights. Overtime rules are as follows. We get 3 attempts at this. We have 2 laps. A green lap and a white lap. The field comes around, takes the green flag. If they complete that green lap, the restart is official no matter what happens behind them, and they race it back to the checkered flag. If, however, that green lap is not complete, you re-rack, restack 2 more times, and we have up to 3 total attempts. If on that 3rd attempt they still cannot get the restart in, green flag racing, at least through the green lap, the caution can come out and end the race early. If at any point, though, they take the white flag, the restart is official. Good look there at the grandstands. Those turns 3 and 4 grandstands and suites no longer there. And this time, the iRacing.com safety car lights have been extinguished, and we are ready to go back racing. One more reminder about what we have upcoming at Pit Stop TV. Tomorrow night, we head out to Chicagoland. Not Chicagoland. To Chicago. The city of Chicago. For the Chicago Street Course with the XCal Racing Web Shop Series. This weekend, we go out to Le Mans in France for the Majors 24. We'll be broadcasting split number 4. If you've got friends racing in that, let them know. If they make it into split number 4, we will have that broadcast. You can follow along everything Pit Stop TV on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X. Here we go. Overtime attempt number 1 at New Hampshire. Deegan Smith inside, Grant Brown outside, restart zone, green flag in the air. Let's try this again. Ryan Kuhn with a big restart down to turn 1. He gets clear for 2nd. Grant Brown straight down to the inside. He's going to slide up now and become victim. He's going to get put 3. Here comes Kendrick Cryer. Here comes Sean Hayes. 4 wide down to turn number 3. If they get back to the stripe, the restart is official. Caution. Caution's out. 2 cars tow straight back to the pit lane. Delaney is slow. I'm actually not sure where the caution would have been. I guess it was Brad Carpenter. He's the only car that's behind the mark. It was. This is the tail end of it. He got turned around in turn 2, and the caution was a little bit delayed. The Carpenter there gets tipped around by Tanner Burge in the 35. Quick and easy spin. Caution comes back out. We'll re-rack and go back at it one more time for overtime attempt number 2. The same rules apply here as Tanner Burge. Ooh, he made a lane change. Didn't pass Kyle Adams, but made a lane change there to get to the inside of the 24 car. And then tips the 31 around. I wonder if that's going to be an EOL for the 35. This is from the 24 car. Kyle Adams on the restart. You see Verge pull up to the inside. And the 35 just kind of goes right on through and then ends up turning this 31 around. Right there. And we are set to go back racing this time by, we're going to try overtime attempt number 2. Once again, if we complete the green flag lap, the race is official. If we do not complete the green flag lap, we have one more attempt to get this race in under green. Restart zone, green flag is back out of New Hampshire. From the wide blimp shot high above New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Through turns 1 and 2. Deegan Smith breaking away once again. Side by side for second. It's Brown. It's Kuhn. 3 wide for fourth. Jake Grout to the inside in the 49 car. If we get back around, this race is official. To the stripe we go, and the white flag is out. Brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. This race is official no matter what happens now. Grant Brown nearly got to the back end of the 15 that time in 1 and 2. Ryan Kuhn going to come off the top rope. Sean Hayes there down low. That's Jake Grout way to the inside. Can anything happen down here in turns 3 and 4? Grant Brown going to try it. Goes all the way down. Going to hit the left rear of the 15. Gets him free. They're going to crash behind. And it's going to be a drag race to the stripe. Cars crashing all over. Grant Brown to victory lane at New Hampshire. Unbelievable. Ryan Kuhn just went from 3rd to 13th. Unbelievable is an understatement. We're going to bring in the race winner immediately. Grant, how in the world did you pull that off?
Just tried to time it. I knew he was going to try to protect bottom. It's what anybody would have done, and just made sure I was there before any contact was made.
Well, you got there, contact was made, and then you drag raced to the start-finish line. Was there any point in time you thought maybe you were going to end up the wrong way around like everybody else in the last lap?
No. We had a really, really good long-run car. I just kind of had to try to make the best of the situation with all the cautions late.
And, of course, contact on the last lap always looked at with tons of different viewpoints. Is there anything you have to say to those who maybe aren't as happy with that move?
You aren't happy with it, you know in your heart that you would have done the same exact thing. It's a pixel car, not a real-life car.
There you go. Grant Brown to victory lane this evening at New Hampshire. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So Grant Brown with the race win. 65 laps led. I don't think anybody can disagree that he probably deserved that. More than most. I'm not going to say more than anybody, but more than most. With all those laps led, he will burn it down now on the front stretch. I don't think anybody can disagree that he deserves it. We will go back and get a look at that replay here in a few, but first up, we're going to talk to the rest of our top 3, including that of Deegan Smith, who ends up on the other side of, the soundboard when these guys come in. It's a little interesting, but let's move on down then to Jake Grout and see if we can grab driver 49. Jake, 3rd place. It did not look like that when you went into turn number 3. How did it end up that way out of turn 4?
Yeah, it looked like the 14 just drove it in there and caused a huge checkup. So, hate it for Ryan. He was flying all night. Really sucks for him. Deegan especially. He led majority of the night and kind of had that happen to him. So, it's unfortunate, but I guess played out good for us.
Well, yeah, it definitely plays out well for you, up to 3rd spot. I mean, is there any way you could even try to begin to, I guess, comprehend that? The fact that you were 17th when we talked to you with, what, like 30 to go? You come back through, slowly work your way through. At any point in those laps, did you think you'd be 3rd?
I knew when I got back up there to P7, I had one restart where going down the backstretch, I knew I could have went for it. And I thought about it, but I decided that it was going to be better for me just to back out and let him play, and I'm glad I did.
Well, it's good to talk to you again, Drake. After all is said and done, 3rd place, solid day for you. Hopefully we'll talk to you again in the future.
Yeah, thank you.
And this time we will grab second place finisher Deegan Smith. Hey, it happens, but car 15, not victory lane. I almost said it. We almost said victory lane because into turn 3, I thought you had it. What's your view on what happened down in 3 and 4?
Grant just got in there. No, used a little bit of his right front fender, but that's racing. Good job to him.
Yeah, his viewpoint on it was pretty much that anybody else would have done the same. I don't know if that's entirely true, but hey, it made for a really cool finish for us. That's got to feel like a bit of a romp, though, even if you are okay with the fact that it is racing. I mean, not to rub salt in the wound, 41 laps led, that's not how you wanted to finish the race. Is there any way, I guess, you can rebound from this and go back at it the next time?
Definitely. I mean, I'll take this. The last 2 races that we've done with the series, I've made it past lap 30, so I'll definitely take it, but I think I could have loosened my car up a little bit more on the pit stops, and I think that probably would have helped me.
And how about this car in general? It's super grippy on the fixed set, and of course you guys are on open setups, but it's a little bit weird, I feel like, at least in my driving experience with the late model stock. It's a little bit weird everywhere you go, so how do you get the most speed out of these cars?
Just try to get the most grip as you can out of the right rear to get that drive off, and make sure it turns center as much as you can.
Well, Deegan, you led a whole bunch of laps. I know it probably feels like a bit of salt in the wound. I don't mean it that way, but a really, really solid race for you until that last corner. That's just how racing goes. Best of luck. Hopefully we'll talk to you again in the future.
Yep, thank you.
Deegan Smith, you can see it here. These are the last moments of his race lead. There's the contact from Grant Brown. You let it play through. It's a drag race. They bump some more. Right there, he got back to his door. Just couldn't quite get the wind back away. But that is short track racing. We can go back and take a look at our unofficial race results when it's all said and done. Of course, Grant Brown with the race win. Deegan Smith second. Jake Grout third. We talked to each of them. Take a look at the rest of the top 10. Other highlights have to include Sean Urich and Justin Crow in the top 5. Michael Weissman comes back into the top 6. Mueller, I mean, there's definitely highlights throughout the field, some more than others, as you look at the top 10, and then some heartbreak, certainly. Kendrick Cryer, Dylan Calabro, Ryan Kuhn, the first of the drivers that I thought would have been top 5 or so and end up outside of the top 10. Several drivers, really. There's even a few others that I think should have been a whole lot higher, but end up in some incidents throughout the course of the race. But that's it for us this evening. I do want to get one more look at that final restart before we go. This is just incredible. I mean, there was crashing everywhere after the white flag. When we came back around, so this is the white flag here. We get one final look at this caution. Well, not this caution, but this crash. It was massive. Kuhn with the blink. Hayes reacts. There you see Jake Grout all the way to the inside. That was a top 3 move. Grant Brown makes the move on Deegan Smith. Sean Hayes tags the 72. They crash. Broadside. You see everybody just pile in. Ryan Kuhn goes absolutely tumbling all over the racetrack and comes to rest outside of turn 4. Put it in reverse, Terry, and hey, that's effort right there. Let's get a look from his onboard and then call this a day. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. For all the wrong reasons for Ryan, anyway. He went straight to full lock, try to save the car, and just gets hit right there by Kyle Adams up and over several times. Wow. Incredible. Well, that'll do it for us this evening from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Thank you for joining us. It has been a pleasure as always. Incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible this evening. Thank you so much for watching. A big nod to all of the partners here with the series. There's a handful of them that make this series possible. It would not be possible without any of them. Spartamax, CV Designs, Crow Sim Shots, Molly's Custom Silver, Hot Shots Photography, of course, Podium Esports as usual coverage of the series. We've been lucky enough to sub in the last couple of weeks, the last couple of races, and would happily do so again in the future, of course, and nod as well to Whiplash Sim Cams. From New Hampshire Motor Speedway, once again, thank you so much for watching. We'll give you a brief look once again at what we have upcoming here at Pit Stop TV, but for myself, Andrew Cardinale, and everybody else at Pit Stop TV, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.